Beardos, weirdos, boils and ghouls. A few people have asked for it. I've wanted to do this for a long time. Most Haunted. So for those of you that don't know, Most Haunted is a British paranormal reality TV series. I don't think it's very real at all. So initially, Most Haunted started on Living TV in 2002 and ran up until 2010. Then the show was axed because of decline in viewing figures. In 2014, a new TV channel called Really picked up Most Haunted, and that ran until 2019. And the show is still running now in some form on YouTube. They still do live with Most Haunted, where you can turn up and do an investigation with Carl Beatty and Yvette Fielding. So Yvette Fielding and Carl Beatty are husband and wife, and they run the show. Carl Beatty being a producer and Yvette Fielding being the presenter. They're a married couple. Yvette started as a Blue Peter presenter. There have been over 300 episodes. So as well as Yvette Fielding and Carl Beatty, we had Stuart Torval, who is a rigger and cameraman. He's also related to them. I think he's one of their brother-in-laws. You got Fred Batt, who is a demonologist and historian. More on him a little bit later. Greg Smith, who's a cameraman. Glenn Hunt, the worst skeptic known to man. Darren Hutchinson and Marie Beatty, who is Carl and Yvette's daughter. The show also used psychic mediums. Now, the first psychic medium they used in the first 6 seasons was Derek Acora. Now, Derek Acora is no longer with us. Some people believe he had psychic abilities. I'm one of those who will question how you can be a semi or professional footballer and then discover psychic mediumship when you retire. They also used a guy called David Wells, who was far less flamboyant than Derek Acora, but equally as full of shit. Then you had Gordon Smith, Brian Shepherd, and Chris Conway. Brian Shepherd used to do psychic drawings. They've also used celebrities in their episodes. People like Nancy Sorrell, Vic Reeves, Gabby Roslin, Scott Mills, Simon Gregson, Carol Thatcher, Paul O'Grady, Lee Ryan, and some friends of mine. Bullet for my Valentine. I'm friends with a couple of the guys that are in the band, or one of the guys is in the band, 2 that have since left the band. Now, I know exactly what happened in that episode because I have spoken to 2 of the guys about it, but I think they're under some sort of non-disclosure, so I can't really discuss it, and I especially won't discuss on their behalf without asking them first. Now, of all of the people that have ever been involved in this show, there is only one that I think is credible. One that I think spoke the truth, and that is Dr. Kieran O'Keefe, a parapsychologist who ran with the show from 2002 until 2005. He was also responsible for Derek Acora being outed with Creed Kafer, and we'll get to that. Now, they also had other parapsychologists and makeup people and like historians like Richard Felix, Leslie Smith, and they just always seemed something off for the historians. The historians seem to be playing a part as opposed to just giving the history of the place. And in some cases, it was the historians that were caught faking. I know. Now, the biggest faker of the show is actually Yvette Fielding. Now, Yvette has a podcast on a paranormal podcast on Spotify. And she comes across like the font of all knowledge for all things spooky. She claims, viewers will write in, leave voice messages, etc. She will listen and read and then basically tell them whatever they want to hear. Yes, you're haunted. Oh, in my belief, I think you are. It is truly a terrible listen. She sounds like a primary school teacher. Oh, yes, dear. It's horrible to listen to. And I've listened to it just to get a feel for maybe what she is like away from Most Haunted, and I can't. She seems, in her own claims, she can manifest spirits to tap. Now, the first season, that's all she did was run around and scream, but suddenly she is now controlling spirits. She speaks to her dead father every day. How does she do this? With the knocking phenomena. Now, years ago, I was watching a Most Haunted live, and I saw Yvette kick a table and everyone scream. And then on replays after the live, that section was missing. There was a different camera angle. And I've scoured the internet trying to find that exact bit of evidence, and it's gone. And it's really hard to find evidence of really haunted faking on YouTube. Is it because they take channels down that show them faking? Do they use the copyright system? I believe so.
Do you want to start?
Now, this is important. She covers her face and says, mm-hmm. And as she lifts her head, says, now listen to what comes next.
What noise? Like a moon?
Breathing or something.
I heard like a...
That's what I heard.
That's exactly what you heard. Because Yvette made that noise. She made that noise on camera and then claimed that to be that of a ghost. While we're on the subject of fake Derek Okora, he was their psychic medium who was outed by Kieran O'Keefe when Kieran O'Keefe basically false-fed some false information to some crew members to see if it would get back to Derek. And guess what happened? So obviously Kieran O'Keefe is very skeptical of Mr. Okora. There is a story of them going to locations. They never tell the psychic mediums where they go in. The psychics are blindfolded, then led in. And Derek Okora was always spot on. But there is a story on one occasion of Derek getting into a location, going into the toilets, because once you're inside most of these places, you know where you are. Going into the toilets and making a call to his partner and asking for the history of the location. The one thing he forgot was his microphone was still on when he was in the toilet making said phone call. And then lo and behold, the rest of the investigation, Derek hits everything. Nail on the head. He also went to one location where there was a story of a haunted bed. That's right, a haunted bed. Derek touches the bed. Derek gives the full history of the bed. Derek is touching the wrong bed. And this is somebody who's on the show for years. Even when he was outed the first time by Kieran O'Keefe. 3 weeks later, the guy is still appearing on the show. Now, Creed Kiefer, if you didn't know, is an anagram of Derek Fakes.
Is he telling you something, Derek? Just giving you a name.
Creed! Creed!
Now, you will have noticed that they've spelt it very different here. The audience wouldn't pick up on the shenanigans and fakery. Creed Kiefer was never, ever, ever assigned to this building. Surviving goal documents show no record of this person. That's because he was made up. And he was made up by Kieran O'Keefe to catch Derek Okora lying. But it's not the first time, because 3 weeks later, Derek was also caught with an anagram of Derek Lies. And I can't find that one on the internet, but it's the same thing. He says a name, and it's an anagram of Derek Lies. And again, it was fed to the crew from Kieran O'Keefe, and Derek was caught out. And of course, we cannot ever forget.
Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick.
Mary loves that dick. How he kept a straight face, I don't know.
Mary loves Dick. Richard.
I'm sure you hear somebody laugh there. Now, earlier on, I also mentioned a guy called Fred Batt. He's a demonologist, apparently. And Fred Batt was also caught faking by a viewer. Now, this guy only has 12 subscribers, and his name is Richard Leach. Richard Leach, this is a great catch, and it took me hours to find this. I appreciate you. Thank you for your work. What's this? So we've got a vet. There's Mr. Bat in the background, the demonologist, and whoever this guy is. It looks like they replaced Kieran O'Keefe for Pound Shop Kieran O'Keefe. Yes, I'm being sarcastic because this show ruined paranormal for me.
Uncle.
What's he looking at? What's he looking at?
I thought I saw something as well. I thought there was a definite flicker.
How did he think he was going to get away with that? We'll slow it down. There goes his arm. Whoop. Okay, so slowed it down for you guys, and we'll play it again in full time. You just see him lurking around, looking to see if anyone's looking at him. There's sound's coming from over there, and then he does that. And then you hear the stone or the pebble land. Now, it is rumoured that Stuart Torval, the cameraman that's been with him from day one, the brother-in-law, is called Stuart Pebbles.
I thought I saw something as well. I thought there was a definite flicker.
There's the throw, there's the bang. And we were sold this garbage as the real deal. But the thing is, as the show went on, it got more and more incredible. More and more ridiculous. How ridiculous? They actually got banned from 30 East Drive. A, for throwing knives. B, for damaging the banister with the pull of Carl going up the stairs. Now, Before anyone says it, hang on. They've already said that that is a cable from the camera. It's a cable from all the cameras, because back then, cables everywhere. Correct. They do have cables everywhere. And Carl Beatty says the night vision made the cable look white. There is one problem with that. Now, night vision will make black clothing look white, because your clothing is never truly black. It is very, very dark red. Stand under a bright white stage light and you will see the red. Put night vision on, everything instantly illuminates as white, because infrared is a lack of red filter. Now, Carl's claims of it being a black cable, I can debunk. Now, the original footage for the 30 East Drive, again, it's really hard to find because they knew they were rumbled. This was live and they cocked up majorly. And I remember watching this live in 2015, and it was at this point I was like, I'm done with this crap. Now, you will see there is a cable running up this banister with these white little clips over them. This cable is still black because it's black armoured cable. Black plastic cable. This recorder or whatever it is, black plastic. Now, this cable on his left, our right, that's important because he claims that the cable that we see is a camera cable, not a rope. All the camera cables throughout all of this episode show black on night vision. So what is that white thing just attached there, and why are you hiding that so well? He comes round the corner. White wire, the white rope is in shot. He realizes it and then sticks himself to the banister to make sure that we, the viewer, can't see it. And then what happens is comedy gold. This position where you crouch, knees tucked in, elbows tucked in, clasp your hands. That is him readying himself for an impact or a pull. He's got his head rolled forward. This is to stop yourself from getting hurt when you're yanked backwards. It's also worth noting he's got an earpiece with a black cable that's still black. Now, let's be honest. Even with somebody pulling him backwards, it didn't look that great now, did it? Now, the next piece of footage I'm going to show you is Carl explaining exactly what happened to 30 East Drive. He's full of shit.
That's asked a question about the live show and the cable that was attached to me. It's not for the Lunatic Fringe. This is actually for the fans who have asked a very sensible question.
You are the Lunatic Fringe, idiot. You were caught, and instead of just being asked, saying, you know what, we tried to up the ante for the live at the home of the most violent poltergeist in the UK because nothing happened, so we threw knives and attached a rope to me for fun. You try to insult your viewers' intelligence, and anyone that disagrees with you are the Lunatic Fringe.
Cables wrapped around from the trucks into the house and around the house to make it
Yes, they were, and they were all black, even on night vision.
work. What we do is, so we don't jog the camera, is standard practice.
This actually makes sense. But what doesn't make sense is that cable showing up as white on your night vision, and the fact that it was already taut, and, you know, it wasn't looped through the back of your jeans, was it? It was tied to the side of you to pull you. In fact, if you go to 30 East Drive, you can see the little carve in the banister where the rope burnt through. So now, old Beatty insults our intelligence again by recreating the cable. But he does it in daylight, not in night vision.
I've actually moved to the stairs because I heard a noise. I felt the pull on my cable, so what I've done is gone as far as I can down the stairs. I've had to do to crouch down because of the headroom on the camera at the bottom of the stairs. I didn't quite know where it was, but I assumed that I needed to crouch down.
And then they go into night vision to show how wrong we all are. And the cable is still black. It was a different brand of cable. They put out nearly a 4-minute video years later to dismiss all of us naysayers, and they cocked it up because he goes into night vision and the cable is black, not white. Carl Beatty, you have just joined the ranks of Lee. You're a tit. Now, back with old Fred, the demonologist. They capture some audio phenomena. Do 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 do. Phenomena. Do 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 do. Sorry. I'm going to play you the phenomena first, and then I'm going to show you how ridiculous this is.
Did you say can you move something? Yeah, move something, hit somebody. Listen to this, because this wasn't. I couldn't hear it amongst us.
They couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a knock. Oh!
What sounds like a chain being dragged? Yeah, I'm more of a feeling. Yeah, there's a chain.
There's a bang and a chain being dragged. We all heard it. A bang and a chain being dragged. This is Fred. The bangs were him stepping forward twice and then purposely spinning on the spot so his shoes made a noise, and they claim that is a chain being dragged. And they put this out in an episode that you can watch on Sky TV. How ridiculous. Also back with Derek. Now, these guys outed Derek and they treated him quite poorly for obviously being caught out. But these guys were in on it. They knew about it the entire time. If you want some proof of it, I'm going to show you some footage and then I'm going to explain to you exactly why he's full of shit. Now, Derek would go into a video, do a blind walkthrough, and then alert them to places of interest where they could get paranormal activity.
Look into this aperture here. Oh, his energy's in there now. This is an area for him where he gains his energies and what have you.
Is he here all the time?
Slight problem there, Derek. And Most Haunted crew. This is a blind walkthrough where Derek knows nothing about the history of the locations, and he is going to walk around and psychically work out where you're likely to get some paranormal activity. Now, this is an off the cuff, I need to go in here, I'm following a ghost. Who the hell put that camera in the room? How did they know Derek was going to stick his head in and go, hey, there's a ghost lives in here? The most basic elements of this show are bullshit. And hey, I know, I used to watch it, I used to enjoy it, I used to believe it. The next clip and the final clip, this just shows how ridiculous this show is. This guy is walking around some bathrooms. He's alone. Nobody else with him. Nobody at all. And the reason he's filming is because he's hearing noises in the bathroom. And nobody's with him. All alone.
Free. When I was on the other side, there was something pushing that door. Now I know that.
There was something pushing the door, something making noises. Whoops! Whoops-a-daisy! Oops! Did you see what I just saw? Whose arm is that? Whose tracksuit is this? You literally just opened the door, saw somebody and go, whoop! And that also made it onto TV. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean...
Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick.
She does indeed. Yes, Derek was fake. Yes, Derek got caught out. But this show treated the man like crap. After Kieran O'Keefe outed him, they kept him on the show, and Yvette Fielding was so toxic to the guy. There was no need for it. Especially when you consider the evidence I've just supplied. The entire thing is fake and staged. Kieran O'Keefe has outed them. Ex-crew members have spoken out about them. And they ridiculed, mocked, and made this guy look stupid. To try and make themselves look more believable. And that is ultimately wrong. Now, I've wanted to do a Most Haunted debunk since the time I've had this channel. I've wanted to show what they really are. But now the TV networks, the heyday is gone and they're uploading their own stuff to YouTube. They're very selective. They're not putting up anything that can out them. The stuff that's on the TV, a lot of it is paid or you get adverts. You can find a lot of their episodes on Amazon Prime now, and it's split between different channels that you can view for free on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime themselves have a few seasons. But you will notice the season 6, all the stuff with Derek, where he was caught numerous times, is now missing. Now, complete transparency here, Most Haunted, I loved them back in the day. Me and my mates, we'd all pile into the house, we'd watch Most Haunted, on Living, And as soon as the episode finished, we'd be down in Neath Abbey, trying to conduct our own investigation, and then wondering why we weren't getting the same results. Most Haunted had gone to Margam Castle, Margam Park, had a phenomenal night. I went there on a paranormal investigation, one of those paid-for investigations with loads of other teams, and nothing happened. Nothing at all. Now, I'm not saying anything about the team. The team were great. In fact, when people were doing Ouija boards and throwing stuff about, they threw them out. I've been to 30 East Drive, didn't see one knife get thrown, never got pulled up the stairs, never saw anything fall down the stairs. In fact, it was so quiet, apart from a couple of knocks and ticks and bangs and my EMF reader going off randomly at certain points, there was nothing there. It could have just been a quiet night. I actually believe there is something to 30 East Drive. There is an odd feeling there. Some friends of mine that I implicitly trust have had some amazing evidence there. I mean, Griff getting pushed down in the bed. I don't care what anyone says. It looks like something puts weight on him and pushes it down. The whole Ouija Brothers channel comes from the back of them all going to 30 East Drive before they had a channel. The channel exists because of an experience at 30 East Drive. But shows like Most Haunted have damaged the legacy of 30 East Drive. They have damaged the legacy of paranormal investigations. Because people now watch paranormal investigations and they want the stone throwing, they want the knocking on command. And you can't get it with the real guys. In fact, the knocking, I think the only people that do it as consistently now are Most Haunted. Most people tend to ignore knocks and bangs because it's creepy old houses. Yet Most Haunted, they get them on command everywhere they go. Absolutely everywhere. Why is that? Is it because Yvette and her team are so well trained after this many years? You know, this is 21 years later. People are still paying to go to these massive events in prisons and jails, etc. They turn up and there's evidence all the time. There's always the knocking phenomena. Yvette invites people around her house, celebrities, etc. And they go out into this little shed and there's knocking phenomena all over the place. So whilst in the beginning I believed in Most Haunted, and whilst if it wasn't for Most Haunted, most of the paranormal investigation shows you watch now, even the good ones, would never have existed. These guys were the first. And they tried to make it seem legitimate. And the earlier seasons, it seems legitimate. Alright, looking back, it's them throwing stuff, it's them kicking table legs. But the further this went on, the more ridiculous it became. And it became ridiculous to the point where they got cancelled. They got axed off a TV network, they went to another one, and then that got axed quite shortly after. They had a constantly revolving crew. Now, you could say over 20 years, of course they would have. There was a lot of money in this show back in the day. People don't just quit shows that make that much money for no reason. So guys, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. I never do this, but, you know, it's worth a try. And let me know what your thoughts are on Most Definitely Not Haunted. Much love to you all. Beardo out.
Very strong negative force here. A very strong negative force. Oh. How dare you?
Until Derek started to shake.